Hey, welcome back. If you've been flying for any time at all, you've undoubtedly noticed the airport is awash in markings, signs, color-coded lights, all sorts of things that we're supposed to pay attention to, and we really should, that give us information we need to know. But maybe one of the most important markings they give us at the airport, specifically to help us out, is a marking that we tend to ignore, especially early on in our training because we don't understand its significance, and maybe a little later on because we get lazy, a little complacent, and we start thinking it doesn't matter. I'm talking about the center line, the simple painted stripe down the center of the runway or the taxiway that's really there just to help you. It has no other real function, and we really should be using it. Now on the runway, the center line is white. It's a striped white line. It goes right down the center of the runway, and you think, big deal, who cares? Well, whether you're taking off or landing, that line is actually there to help give you some directional control. That may seem counterintuitive. You're on the runway, you're facing right down it. What could be the problem? Well, twofold. The narrowest runway I've ever operated out of here in Florida was only 60 feet wide. That's a paved runway with a center line. The widest was 300 feet wide. Now on that short one, half the runway is only 30 feet wide. By the way, the wingspan on my airplane is 30 feet. I've actually owned airplanes with a wider wingspan. If I get off that center line on a 60-foot wide runway, my wing could be sticking off the side of the runway into whatever's over there. Trees, signs, a parked car, another airplane. Everything could be bad. On the really wide runway, 300 feet, believe it or not, if you're taking off on a runway that's 100 yards wide, you could easily lose directional control, especially if there's a crosswind where you don't have a specific line to line up with and try and track on your takeoff run while you're building speed. So whether you're taking off or you're landing, you want to key on that center line and get on it, not near it. You want to be on that center line throughout the entire takeoff roll, and as you land, you want to be keying on that so you touch down with your mains around the center line. It sounds like it's no big deal, but trust me, with enough of a crosswind or a lack of concentration, it might be a little tougher than you think. So give it a shot. On the taxiway side, the center line is yellow. And it's really pretty simple. Doesn't matter what kind of airplane you're flying, keep that yellow line right between your knees. You're only a foot or two to the left or right of center of the aircraft anyhow, so if you keep that line right between your knees, you're pretty much on it. It doesn't guarantee wingtip clearance, but it can be a real comfort when you get a sense of what's going on. For those of you who think, well, maybe this doesn't matter that much because I'm not a professional pilot, I'm just screwing around and I'm going to an airport that's not very busy. There's no reason in the world that a sport pilot can't operate with all the professionalism and care of an airline transport pilot. Recently, I was in Phoenix, Arizona, and I was at Sky Harbor Airport, and the tugs are pulling out the Airbuses from the American Airline terminal and lining up to get out. In every single case, those Airbuses, big, wide aircraft, turbine-powered, hundreds of people on board, they're right on the center line. Even the tug operators, when they push them back from the gate and then position them on the ramp so they can go ahead and taxi out to the taxiways and the runway and go off to their destination, that tug operator puts them right on the center line. And they use wing walkers to make sure there's not an issue because these aircraft are so big and that center line doesn't absolutely guarantee wingtip clearance. All of us could do better by being a little more precise in our flying. We don't have to get crazy about it, but if we just pay attention to things as simple as the center line on the taxiway or on the runway, our flights are better, our passengers are more impressed with our abilities, and the likelihood of us hitting something goes way, way down. So give it some thought. When you fly next, make sure whether you're taxiing, taking off, or landing, the center line is part of your focus and the goal you're shooting for. If you do that, everything gets better. Hey, thanks so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Click like if you enjoyed this video even a little bit. Share it if you think it'll be helpful with someone. And please subscribe to the channel. We keep growing the population, this community that's coming together for aviation safety and entertainment and information. And we'd love to have you be a part of it. So until next time, I'll see you later.